Hello everybody, welcome back to video, and today I am reviewing Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. This was intended to be the final Pirates movie, although there are a couple of things setting up future sequels. Actually, well, maybe not setting up, but things that would come to pass in future sequels. But I'm going to get to that. So, the first 40 minutes of the movie are spent on trying to bring Jack Sparrow back from the dead. Basically. Actually, not basically, that's what the first 40 minutes is. And it makes for, there's a pretty cool action scene in Singapore. Very, very funny. I think this is the funniest Pirates movie in general. There's a lot of funny stuff in this movie. We'll just start with comedy. One, Jack Sparrow continues to be funny. When Barbossa says, "They're my charts," Jack Sparrow then says, "That makes you chart man." Yeah, that line is funny. The movie in general is just really funny. But I think my favorite joke actually comes during the climax, and that's right after Will and Elizabeth get married. Ragetti and Pintle look over at Jack the monkey, and then they immediately head down and load the monkey into a cannon. Undead monkey, why not? But seriously, that's a very funny joke. There's some unexpected stuff in this movie. If you're watching for the first time, a lot of stuff's unexpected. One, okay, thinking about it, if this is the end of the trilogy, you should determine someone is going to die. And Governor Swan honestly made the most amount of sense. Didn't have a big role in any of the action scenes. Had a very minor role in the previous movie. And basically the only thing he did in the first one was fight a disembodied hand. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense for him to be killed off. But that's off screen. But one of my favorite sequences in the movie is this one scene that's Jack Sparrow and Beckett in the same room, which is just a really interesting sequence that actually had a deleted line of dialogue. That actually completely changes your opinion on Jack's character. I actually only found out about it recently, which is basically when Jack broke his ties to the East India Trading Company, which he actually had, he broke those ties when he refused to deliver people for Beckett, which kind of changes your viewpoint of Jack Sparrow. It's a deleted line of dialogue, but, I mean, if that's still canon, because we don't have an actual reason for why Jack left working for Beckett, so I'm just going to say that that's probably still the intention. That's a pretty cool, interesting way of changing that. The action in this movie, fantastic. I think it's actually even a step up from the previous movie. Davy Jones is still an incredible villain and an incredible work of CGI. But the funniest part, I'm going to go and just say one last thing about the humor. Jack Sparrow and Barbossa are a great comedic duo in this movie. And it's really cool to see them get to be on the same side of this after Barbossa being the big bad for the first movie. Alright, apart from that, I love the way that at the end of the movie, Jack Sparrow just turns to Gibbs and says, "Mr. Gibbs, you may throw my hat." And after he throws the hat, Jack Sparrow just turns at him and says, "Now go get it." That's pretty funny to me. Also, just this movie here's the thing, it ends by setting up a potential sequel. So before we get to that, let's talk about some of the other stuff. So obviously you have the bad guys of this movie that need to be resolved. Norrington gets redemption. I don't mind this. I don't mind this idea. Maybe it could have been handled a little differently. um, so there's this one guy, and he just gets, I think, the most gruesome death in the entire series, where Davy Jones uses his tentacles to kill him and then takes the key off of his dead body. That is probably the most gruesome death in the entire series, and I'm honestly a little surprised they got away with doing that. Davy Jones gets, unfortunately for being such a great villain, he unfortunately gets a very weak death. His heart gets stabbed, he falls overboard, that's it. And then Beckett actually gets the coolest death. His ship is being blown to pieces around him. He's just walking down the stairs. You see these little pieces of shrapnel go everywhere. Boom, boom, boom. Before when he ultimately gets to the bottom of the stairs, he's just engulfed by fire, and then you see his dead body fall onto the ship's sail. That's the kind of death scene I wish Davy Jones had. That would have been awesome. Tiadama being revealed to be Calypso was an interesting twist. Definitely was. Also, the reveal that Barbossa is now back from the dead just because because he's gonna bring the pirate lords together and release Calypso. That makes for an interesting twist. And the one scene between Calypso and Davy Jones is actually really good. A good character moment. Now, okay, let's get the elephant addressed quickly. This movie is 2 hours and 50 minutes. I like a long movie. I do. John Wick 4. Absolutely incredible. Just that one was a few minutes longer than this. I do think this actually had some stuff you could cut out. My main issue with this movie, I think the term is cringy. It's cringy to have Will and Elizabeth's wedding happen during the final battle. I'm being honest, I don't care for that decision. Why would you do that? I mean, if they were going to do that, just do it before. Then, that would break up the pacing. But still, that breaks up the pacing during the battle. So, yeah, that's my only issue with this movie is you cut out the wedding. But then you miss out on some actually pretty funny Barbossa lines. So, I don't know. You could cut that out, but then you miss out on Barbossa being pretty funny. Also, we get some fun callbacks to the first movie, particularly with how Jack Sparrow manages to escape the Flying Dutchman of the cell. He's telling himself, think like Turner, before he realizes, yeah, I can just do that. In regards to leverage. So, it's a really good movie. I do think I slightly prefer this one. I prefer the second one over this one. But it's still a really good movie. So a few things I want to talk about quickly. There are setups for sequels. Well, okay, this was intended to be the end of the trilogy. But at the same time, we also get setups or things that ultimately be paid off in sequels. Fountain of Youth obviously is teased at the end of this movie, kind of setting up for. And then we get, Will Turner's son introduced in this one, and that gets paid off in 5. Point is that just they set up stuff for future movies. Maybe they were planning on doing a spinoff. I don't know. But either way, for the original 3, this is the end of it. And a lot of people are going to say that the other ones aren't as good. But do I think that? Well, tune in next time where we will discuss on Stranger Tides. But for At World's End, I will give it an 8.5 out of 10. That's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Like and subscribe. Bye.